So tell me a bit about the typical day in the life of a real estate agent.
Typical day in the life of a real estate agent is very unique. Unlike unlike a 9 to 5 job where you go at 9, work on your desk, make a few calls, then go home at 5 6. No, this is very different. I remember when I started out, I was woken up by clients calling me. My day started like that. The first call I would get, I'd see the phone vibrating, and then I'd see it's a client, and while I'm asleep, I'm trying to be professional, I'm talking. So it starts like that sometimes. There's no time. Clients can call you at 12 in the night, clients can call you at 8 o'clock in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning, say if the client is living overseas and there's a time difference, it's day for them, it's night here. So there is no 9 to 5, no professional set of hours to be working. So at Mr. D, we start the office at 9, we close at 6, and I'll just run you through on what happens in the life of a real estate agent every day here. Of course, they get called from clients, but when they come here, the first thing they do is they update the information of all the clients in our system, and thereafter they make a few calls, pending clients inquiries and things like that. Every day we get email inquiries for people looking for properties and for people offering properties. So we finish all of that, we call them, we get the details. If there are properties to visit, then they would check with the photographer, check his availability, check the times, and fix the appointment. And some of these appointments are pre-arranged. So last week somebody would have fixed an appointment to go today at 3 p.m. So that would happen. And they go to different properties. So in another industry, you're going to the same places. You're going to the same partner's office. But here you're going to a different location every time. And if you're taking a client, you're making a second visit there. And sometimes you get to see properties that are simply out of this world. They're so beautiful. And when you see these properties, you feel like a sense of pride. You feel like you are in the best industry, and you're doing the best job in the world, because these properties are, to some people, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Beautiful properties. You get to see all of it. And then on top of that, you get to meet some of these personalities, popular figures in Sri Lanka. You get to meet foreigners. You get to meet government officials of other countries who belong to embassies here. So it's a mix of all of this, muddled with a bit of frustration, a bit of rejection, a bit of disappointment. Sometimes customers call you and say, no, I don't like that property. Find me another property. Sometimes customers take you around for weeks, they see 20, 30 properties with you, and then still they don't take a property and they go find one on their own. So you have this emotional ride also. All these things happen in a day. And then you have to attend meetings with the team and see, okay, what can we do to improve ourselves the next week. Then you have to also check if your targets are being achieved. We also do a lot of fun activities. We go to play pool. We organize at least 3 to 4 trips. We every Friday we try to do some fun activity. Sometimes we see if we can do a prank. So all these things happen, and it's a fun job, and it's a lot of learning as well. There's a lot of learning because you meet different people from different backgrounds, so you get to know about their way of looking at life, what they do, the attitudes, the behavior types, the way they look at certain things, the cleanliness part of. Most of the luxury properties we have, you see these people are so clean, and these things rub off on you, and you learn some good qualities in the process. All of these things come into play. So every day is different in the life of a real estate agent, and every day there's something to learn, and that's what makes it unique, and that's what makes it special.
So, what are some challenges you face in this line of work?
Challenges. Right, so one of the challenges we face is owners having issues in giving the keys to us. I'll tell you why this is a challenge to us. Because most owners don't give the key of their property to us. This becomes difficult when clients keep changing the schedule. A client could call us and say, look, I need to see the property at 3 p.m. And then we call the owner and we say, okay, we have a client who's coming at 3, can we get it open? And then at 2:30 the client calls and says, can I make it 4 p.m.? Now we can't go back to the owner and say, oh no, it's not 3, it's 4 p.m. because he's going to get angry. Some owners, they have their own caretakers and they have their own people who come to open the place. But still, even if they get late to come, we've had these issues. In other countries, the owners just give the key to the agent. The trust is there. So we need to establish that trust here in the market. And for that to happen, the agents need to come forward. They need to portray a professional outfit that is actually doing the work. Because one reason why the owners are not letting us have the keys is because they feel we'll do something wrong in the property. They feel like we might not switch off a light, or they feel like we might go take the property and then we might not get out and stay there and claim it to be our own property or something. There's some insecurity there. So that is one big challenge we face. Then another challenge we face is when it comes to renting properties, we always see a delay when agreements are being sent. I do not know if this is something to do with the lawyers involved or whether this is something that the owners are not well versed with. Generally at Mr. T, if our company is to prepare the lease agreement, it's a 2-hour job. We get it done inside 2 hours. But when property owners give this assignment to their lawyers, it takes 3 days, it takes 5 days, it takes a week, and there's a lot of up and down. This in turn results in the client getting frustrated because the client doesn't have time. When you're selling, you have to sell it quick. You have to get the deal done. You can't wait for days. Minds would change quickly. So this is one big challenge. And these two have been like a repetitive set of issues that we have encountered throughout our 10-year journey. Any other challenges that I can think of? Let me see. Another challenge is where property owners don't stick with one agent. They give it to everybody in the market. That makes it very complicated. Because you must, as a property owner, you should work with one agent. If you feel that agent is not giving you enough interest, then you go to that agent and you tell that agent, look, if you're not giving me enough interest, I'm only giving this to you, I will have to look for another agent. The moment you give it to multiple agents, everybody loses interest. Because there's only one client and one property. For that particular property, there'll be one client and one person has to work on it. And that one person can deal with the rest of the agents. As a property owner, you have to have your agent. Your agent is your face, not everybody. Everybody can't represent you in the market. And that agent can then talk to all the rest of the agents. That's how it's supposed to happen. But here, everybody gets in. So the job is difficult. It becomes difficult. And another challenge we have is when it comes to paying the commissions. People fail to understand that a real estate broker is providing a service. So you have to make sure you pay them. There is already the problem of trust. There's already the problem of there being many unprofessional individuals who are also trying to make a buck out of it. And on top of that, if they are not paying you properly, they have to understand that it's not easy to set up an office, to have a team, to have a staff, to pay overheads, to pay rent, to pay bills, to pay salaries, and all of this for the same fee that a normal broker charges. We as a company, we don't charge anything extra. We charge the same amount that is charged by a single individual broker who's running without an office. And still we have clients who try to negotiate fees with us, who don't want to pay us, who delay paying us. We are bringing you the money, so ideally you should be paying us first. We see in front of us lawyers being paid, and we are thinking we brought the client, we should be paid first. Lawyers are being paid first, and then we are being treated like as if, we'll pay you later, come tomorrow, come in a week. So these are a few challenges we face. We think with time, with the amount of articles we are putting on our company blog with the help of the digital marketing team, we feel educating these sellers. I'm not complaining or grumbling, or I'm not scolding these people for doing this. I feel they don't understand. And this video is one reason why we're doing it, to educate them. you have to pay your broker. You have to pay your broker well. Then only your broker will hold you as a top priority client and give you the relevant inside information you need. So that's important. So these challenges, hopefully, we will overcome. We have been facing them for the last 10 years, and we're seeing slowly but surely we will overcome them, and hopefully the market will also respond properly.
So there's a lot of talk going around that we're in a buyer's market. What would you have to say about it?
Okay, so before we get into what market we are in, we need to understand what a buyer's market is. I have previously mentioned that a buyer's market is where you have more properties and less people, or rather less takers for these properties. So that's called a buyer's market. But there is also something called a seller's market. A seller's market is where you have less number of properties, but you have lots of people willing to buy. So if you're a seller in that market environment, you would say, right, do you want this for this much? You don't? Okay, right, fine, go. And somebody else will bid for a higher price and take it. And then you have what we also call a balanced market, where you have a similar demand for the properties and you also have an equal number of people willing to buy those properties. Now, we have always been a buyer's market. When I say we, I'm referring to Sri Lanka. But having said that, if you go deeper, if you go to certain locations in the Western Province and across the island, you will notice that there are some places where you have a higher amount of people looking for properties. But overall, as a whole, we are a buyer's market, and it might take a while to change, because you just go online, you just go to the internet, you just put house for sale, you put apartment for sale, you put apartment for rent, you put house for, you'll have enough of options. And you will realize that these properties have been in the market for a long time. In a seller's market, they don't stay in the market for a long time. They're taken. They're like hotcakes. So we are in a buyer's market, and in a buyer's market, if you're selling a property, your first offer can sometimes be your best and your last offer. You might take another year or two, and by then somebody else might be like, your property's been there in the market for 2 years. Nobody's buying, so they might even offer you less. So you have to be very careful when you're selling in a buyer's market. A buyer's market is not a good market to flip. If you're flipping, it can be very risky. Flipping is where you buy and quickly try to sell. Buy on paper, or buy for like a small, like a brand new house, and then you keep a margin and try to sell it quickly. Because there are less takers. There are enough of properties. So flipping might not be advised, but that is the story. We are in a buyer's market, and we have to be aware of it when we are dealing with people in the property segment, especially people who are looking to buy.
What's some advice you would give for people looking to buy or sell in the market?
Right, so in today's market, if you're selling a property, the best way to sell the property is to price it slightly below the market rate. If you're somebody who's trying to make the best buck out of the property, you won't become a successful seller, because it's a buyer's market and there are very few people who are going to buy. So you have to price your property slightly below market value, then the interest levels will go up. If you're thinking your property is valued at, for example, 50 million and you want 55 million, it's not going to work. Your property is going to be in the market for a good 2-3 years. But if your property is valued at 50 million and you're selling it at 45 million, you can expect the sale to happen within a month. So that's still wiser than keeping the property for 2 years. You can still do a lot with that money, because when you want that money, you have it. And when you don't want the money 2 years later, God knows whether it will be needed or not. So that's one. For people who are looking to buy property, there's only one thing I can tell you. Come into the market with clarity. We often meet clients who go in search of houses in various locations, and then later on they come and tell us, we are even considering apartments. And then price points change, locations change, property types change, and this takes a lot of time. So do your research before you get into the market. Know what you want, know what you're looking for. If you're looking to buy a property, do your research, go talk to a real estate professional, ask for some information. Don't just call people and disturb them and say, oh, I want to see that property, and then when you go there say, no, I'm looking for this. Your requirement has to be crystal clear. only then can a real estate agent help you. If you are buying a property and if you don't know what you're looking for, no one's going to help you. No one can help you, because if you don't know what you're looking for, how do you expect somebody else to know what you're looking for? So you have to be very clear on what it is you're looking for. And you shouldn't be too ambitious. You have a certain amount of money in your pocket, you know what your budget is, and you have to accept, okay, this is the amount of money I have, this is what I can get for this money. We often hear clients asking for A-grade properties, luxury properties for super low budgets. I mean, you cannot buy a luxury car for a very small amount of money. You still have to pay that amount. So it's the same with the property market. If you want to buy a good property, you have to be able to have that budget. And leave the rest to your agent. Get hold of one agent who can look after your interest. Don't go around dealing with tons of agents. Get hold of one agent, get friendly with that agent, talk a lot to that agent, and make that agent your face. So they will do the search for you, they will give you the options, and even when you search, you show them what you searched and get their repeated replies. So clarity is important. You have to be clear with what you want.
So thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and for your insightful advice into the industry. Stay tuned to our channel for more videos. We'll be uploading more in this series as well. And follow us on our social links below, and we'll see you soon.